recognized.
Good morning, members, and I rise today, too, on behalf of the Legislative Black Caucus to honor Cesar Chavez and to support ACR 114. All of my notes, obviously, have been given by someone else at this point because there's so many of us who want to celebrate Cesar Chavez, his commitment to action, his commitment to nonviolent struggle, his understanding of King and Gandhi and the role they played in transforming people's lives. We're all a part of it. So what I'm going to add today is really a little bit more to the legacy of Cesar Chavez. Being a student at UCLA in the late 60s, it was a time when the campus opened to many new populations. And it was interesting because many of us came to the university because our parents had sent us there to get a good education. Probably a little bit confused when we got there because we really didn't fit in very well because we didn't have the same vision and motives as others. But my friends, my roommate, a Latina, and many of my other friends heard about this man called Cesar Chavez. And most of them left school for a year or 2 years and then came back with a new purpose and a new vision about why they were in schools. They were there really to represent their parents and the struggles of their community and many other struggling communities in California. And so they came back and became lifelong activists. When you meet a farm worker, when you meet someone who was a part of the grape strike, you meet someone who has changed their lives and are committed to changing the lives of others forever. And so many of our communities are filled with the Legrettis and the Valladolids and the Msamajis and all of those individuals because they met a man named Cesar Chavez who gave them a reason for their education, a reason for their activism, and to change humanity. I also want to emphasize the fact, as we've kind of skirted around the issue, that this was a labor movement. And having traveled around the world, I often tell people that one of the things I find in third world countries that is so missing is organized labor. That when you have capitalism without organized labor, you have the potential for tyranny everywhere. You have the focus on profit and gain without those who participate in making the profit and gain. And Cesar Chavez reminded us of that. I studied the labor movement when I was a graduate student as a part of my study of Marcus Garvey. And we sometimes, after 40, 50 years, forget how hard people struggle to have dignity in the workplace. We forget about the children labor laws and the things that happened for profit and gain as we made the Carnegies and the Rockefellers of the world. We forget about the people who worked in those factories and who worked hard and barely made a living. Cesar Chavez in the 60s and 70s reminded us of the role of labor in creating the democracy that we love. That without this organized labor to balance capitalism, we end up with the extreme wealth and the extreme poor, which really undermines democracy in itself. And so when I think of Cesar Chavez, I not only think about his marches and his statements and his challenges to us about humanity, but I see him as a critical piece in saving our democracy. And if we are smart, as he said, King and Gandhi gave us a commitment to humanity, and the question is, are we up to the challenge? I think in this House we have to ask ourselves also, as Gandhi and King and Chavez gave us a challenge, as we look at our farm workers and we look at our democracy and we look at our capitalism today in California with the extreme wealth and the extreme poverty, the question is, are we up to the challenge to save democracy? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weber. Mr. Gomez.